You're tuned into the New Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon at bringingdowntheband.com and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, and Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the New Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
Episode 113 of the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. I make beats. I have a hard drive. Lone has a hard drive. DJ Jay Diff has a hard drive. And DJ Spoolz.
To prove it.
All have hard drives to prove it. Longevity, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Everybody that hasn't been watching the show is going to be mad confused.
They'll get it. All they have to do is go back. They'll get it.
That's true.
Lyrics matter. I like that t-shirt.
They do, especially for today's episode. Right?
I like what you did there. In the corner, as always, fresh to death, fully kitted up, DJ Jay Diff.
Salutations.
How are you, my brother?
I'm well. How you doing, man?
Man, I can't complain, man. Everything is good.
Yeah. You got some light skin in your cup?
Huh?
Some light skin and orange juice in there?
I'm sorry, what?
He's working on his conditioning. He's got to have it. He's got to have it at all times.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right.
Yeah, baby steps.
Cool.
Rock with me, man.
All right.
As I transition.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Be supportive.
All day, man. Thumbs up.
Appreciate you, brother.
Indeed.
To my, that's the best thing ever. To my immediate left, the incomparable DJ Spoolz.
Hello, Michael.
How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good to see you.
How's your beard?
Struggling. It's called a struggle beard, Spoolz.
Rome wasn't built in a day, man.
It wasn't. It takes time. So as of now, it is. It will be labeled as a struggle beard.
Okay.
You
You called it that.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
It's there. Terry's got a nice one. Lone's getting there. Mine is struggling more than both of theirs. So it is what it is. Episode 113. I believe this is
about that? You're trying your best, though, and that's what counts, man.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate it.
Do some push-ups. It'll help it.
That'll do it? Okay. I'm going to try that. What about wheatgrass? Do I put that on there and try that?
Like on it?
Juices and berries, maybe.
Juices and berries.
Yeah.
Okay. You just need to never mind. Just rub some shit all over your face. You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Some boo-boo.
Need some goat feces.
Goat feces. Can I cop that, or how do I get that?
If you want.
You just go directly to the source.
Oh, to the goat.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could do that if you wanted.
Fair enough. So, episode 113. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last episode of the year. Is that correct?
It is. 2018. And
2018. It's crazy, man. We've been doing this for a while. That's a lot of episodes.
Yes.
Wow.
A while.
A long while.
A long while. So it's been fun as always. I can't wait for 1919. It's going to be dope.
1919?
That's
going
Red August.
back in time?
That's Red August that y'all hear giggling in the background as well. Make sure you pay that man. He will come shoot your wedding.
He'll come shoot you.
Mike has a DeLorean. We're going back in time for the next
Great movie.
year.
Great shoes as well. So 113.
Yep.
You know what it is. Shout out to sponsors, Coleman Dental, 317-255-8546. Get your teeth right.
Dr. Coleman.
Dr. Coleman, we see you. BringingDownTheBand.com, as always, is the hub. Printfinity supports your local businesses. And No Bad Ideas. They lace us, as always. Got the nice, is that maroon? Wine? I'm not sure. What are we going with that?
I'll go with maroon.
Maroon? Okay.
A shade of red.
Shade of red. I like this. Nice knit cap.
Ron Burgundy.
Yeah, Ron
There
Burgundy.
you go. Ron Burgundy.
I like that. Indie CD and Vinyl as well. They have taken care of us. They actually gave us that dope, that wax last week with the 𝗀𝗲𝗄 wax. So shout out to them as well. Let's see. We can actually start. I feel like this is gonna be a real music heavy episode.
I want to talk about the wall first.
I mean, we can. They said I was told somebody else was gonna pay for it and fund it.
Yeah, what's going on with the wall, Mike?
And then they said, I guess it's not going to be funded by them.
Yeah, so Trump said Mexico's going to pay for it.
That's what he said.
That was the campaign promise, right?
I believe that's part of the campaign, no?
And then it became...
I'm going to shut the government down if need be.
Yeah, now it's let's start a GoFundMe for the wall.
How much?
Yeah.
What
Are
was
you kidding me?
There's
No,
They're serious.
literally,
They're serious.
and it's up to like
9 million or something.
Yeah, the GoFundMe is being funded. Like literally, people are funding that.
Who
Shout out to
started
Flint.
it?
shouts to conservatives who don't like taxes, who are funding the GoFundMe.
And shout out to Flint, who
Right.
still is having water issues
Say
as we
that.
fund
You know,
the The GoFundMe for the wall.
What does that say about? What does that say about certain people that they would rather build a wall,
Right.
like, over the fact that like like tax, it's like one of the main thing that fiscally conservative people generally agree on is that tax money is too high, right? I mean that's all the way around, but more so fiscally conservative people, especially the more money, the higher you go up. So now we have a GoFundMe where people are contributing to build a wall where they're essentially just throwing money at it, right?
Yes.
Maybe they just don't like certain people from the South.
I think they don't.
Yes. Go ahead, Terry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean,
I'm
granted,
just saying they don't like them.
I mean, I guess one take from that would be that it's a more direct way to focus tax dollars or dollars that you would, but you're still paying them. But I don't know.
It just is. It just shows you the cloth of this company. I mean, I said this company,
But that's
but
kind
it's
of
ran
relevant.
like a company. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is ran like a company. Yeah.
This country,
Thank you.
based on they're so into building this wall, and minus the promise that was given to you, as far as saying that we're gonna make Mexico pay for this wall. Mexico said to get the fuck out of here a long time ago.
They said
as soon
that.
as they heard that.
As soon as they heard, they was like, "We're not doing that." Get
Early
out
in the
of here.
game. Yep.
And now, since he has to pretty much deliver something, now he's trying to put it in our hands to where we have to build this wall.
Now I don't know if he put this together. I think it was just some people, but
No, he's saying because
I was curious
the
who was
government is
behind
on a
it.
shutdown right now.
that's
Like,
right. That's right. Yeah.
Because they didn't want to side with him as far as getting the taxpayers to pay for this wall. And it's very interesting that the people that support Trump are cool with having to pay for this wall when one of the deciding factors of him getting elected was his idea of making Mexico pay for the wall. And now you want to start GoFundMe campaigns and things like that in order to do that. But as you were saying earlier, the water in Flint is still bad. And it's been that way for 5-6 years?
I want to say at least minimum 5 years.
And it costs, I think it's $5 billion to build this wall.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's over $5 billion.
I'm pretty sure the infrastructure in Flint is a fraction of that, right?
I don't know exactly, but
It
I'm
can't
sure
be
it's
$5 billion.
I'm sure it's expensive, but it's probably not as
Nowhere
expensive
near
as a
the
wall.
the ticket on the wall. Not even close.
I'm not understanding why that's still not a priority. Because it's almost like we have a third world country in the middle of the United States right now.
Isn't the argument it's a state matter or something?
Well, to your point, I think sometimes it shows where, to me, it kind of shows where people's priorities lie.
100%.
You know, because there's got to be a way, even if it, to your point, if it was like state run, and I'm sure there is something like that. You know, was there ever a GoFundMe for Flint? Like, was there, what happened with that situation? I mean, I think it just shows where people's, like what's important to them. People put their money into what is important to them, and people will say, "Well, this is for our defense," and it's just the fear that's all that's been put into people. It's sad.
It's a pick and choose situation because I don't know if y'all heard about Paul Ryan, which is about to be out of office, and
Yes.
he had
Wisconsin, is that where he's from?
Yes.
But he had this idea of wanting to grant
Amnesty. I believe.
to like thousands of Irish
Oh yeah, I heard about
immigrants,
that.
Irish immigrants. And it's so funny that's cool to do that, but if your skin tone's a certain shade, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Side note: they have terrorism in Ireland too.
Yeah.
A
Thank you,
decent
sir.
amount of it. I mean, my understanding from with the IRA and
I think
things
I
like
shared
that.
some.
Not saying that they're a terrorist.
I mean,
I'm just
that's-
saying I understand there's terrorism in Ireland and has been for a long
And
time.
they're people that are migrating here, which is pretty much the same reason you're trying to build this wall is to keep immigrants out.
That's
But a certain type of immigrant is cool.
Yeah, that's white privilege right there.
It is. It's the funny
Period.
part about it is he saw it as like, this is going to be my parting gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's it's just incredible.
Yeah, he's right though.
Yeah.
Like just the lack of self-awareness, especially as a politician. It's just unbelievable.
I wonder if it even crosses their mind when this shit comes out.
Probably not.
Nah, I doubt it.
I don't think it
I wonder
does.
if it also potentially does, and they're just like, fuck it. We can do what we want.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm more so along the lines of most people are oblivious of their own ignorance, but who knows?
I just looked up numbers for this is per Fox News in terms of the to-date count for the GoFundMe versus what's needed, and it says that to date the campaign has raised a little over $16 million towards its goal of $1 billion.
That's crazy.
Which is a far cry from the $21.7 billion that the Department of Homeland Security says is needed to build a wall along the entire southern border.
$21.7 billion is what
crazy.
the Department of Homeland Security said, but this one, the goal is just $1 billion.
Right. And that's per Fox News. I think that was as of about an hour ago.
Hey man, I guess let them pay for it. I ain't paying for that.
It's just crazy, man. Like, and to Terry, like what Terry was talking about, people will just alter their thought process just to seem right. It's like, yeah, they're gonna pay for the wall. They're gonna pay for the wall. Then we fast forward, they're not paying for the wall. It's like, okay, that's fine. The wall's still a great idea. We're gonna support the GoFundMe, even though that's not what we were told 2 years or some change ago.
Let's talk about this just a little. Go ahead, Sean.
Good.
I was just gonna say the other element that Terry mentioned was the fact that Trump came out when. Did you guys see that sit down with Nancy Pelosi and who was that other guy? I forget.
When they were
the
going,
one where Pence,
guy,
the one where it
Democrat,
looked like
yep.
Pence was sleeping, kind of. But
he was asleep. He definitely nodded off.
He was like asleep
funny.
with his eyes open. But in that specific talk, Trump was like, "I'll shut the government down for
And
this."
he said, "You can put it on me."
Right.
Yeah, he said, "You can."
And
put it
now
on me.
that it's
that's crazy,
it's
man.
just so hypocritical across the board all the time, constantly. It's
So I was trying to think about the relationship that America has with Mexico. Like really get to the root of the problem is what the problem is, and then this solution that people think is a good idea, the wall, right? In reality, the only problem that exists in my opinion, between the United States and Mexico is drugs, right? And then human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
But drugs
and
are
racism.
a big problem, right? As far as like imports and exports and stuff like that.
Right.
So how do they get it in, or how does it come to the United States? And when I chose my words carefully there, because when I said they get it in, it very much so blames Mexican people, because no one would bring one drop of drugs into this country if there wasn't a massive demand for it, right? So
Good point.
So how do they get it in today? They go by boat and sometimes submarine if they're really like sophisticated, tunnel, driving in cars, right? Or other forms of road transportation, trucks, semis, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Flying it in.
Yep.
Okay.
Is a wall in fruit?
Is a wall going to stop any of that?
No.
Okay. So then to me, it doesn't address what the logical problem is between the United States and Mexico, if you want to say that, you know, that exists as a problem.
So
and to me, it only
safety.
more exposes the fact that it's like this fear-based thing around Mexican people, I believe.
Right.
It's an illusion of safety.
Yep.
I mean, to the common person, they think all that matters is immigrants coming in, and that's how it happens. A lot of the stuff comes from people that don't want to live in the United States, but they're working in cohorts with somebody that does live in the United States. And some of those people are the government. I mean, if you want to be technical about it.
That's real.
And what's crazy as well is people are giving Trump a pat on the back for pretty much keeping his word as far as trying to make this wall happen by any means necessary, even if it comes out of our pockets. I mean, when can you just admit defeat at this point?
Just own up to the
Well,
fact.
that's one of the reasons why he's not a good president, is because he can't take a loss. Like, he can't take an L and go through it. Like, he has to deflect and do all, like, he can't just be like, well, I lost this one.
He's not very accountable.
He's not at all. You know, like, if he was at least somewhat accountable, then he would at least get a little bit of respect. But he's just not. He doesn't want to take blame for anything. He never fails. He's perfect. You know, like, it's
pretty ridiculous, man.
But that is a good point. That is a good point. You know, I mean, I think a lot of it's rooted in I think a lot of it's rooted in racism, realistically.
Absolutely.
You know, and the fear around people that don't look like white people from white people in general.
Also saying, there's walls that exist in like Europe and stuff for other. That doesn't fucking matter.
People try to compare like Israel and Palestine. It's like, yeah, the wall works. I was like, yeah. Are you aware of the conflict of Israel and Palestine right now?
Yeah. Right.
So, and you agree with Israel?
I think it would be. Yeah.
Well said.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we know where you lie.
Exactly, and that's kind of back to what when we were talking about Flint. I'd just be curious to see how much money was put, towards that. If there were any GoFundMe's for that one.
I can't help but think about that every time this comes.
And I'm not trying to shit on people. I knew a lot of people that or heard of, or also knew of some people that drove up there and were trying to help. You know what I mean? But I think everybody knew that was kind of temporary.
Yeah.
Unless people were going up there to dig up the old pipes and replace them.
I think people are still actually sending water and things like that up there, but
filters maybe.
But all we're doing is pretty much bandaging the problem.
Yeah, you need to rip the pipes out and replace them, right?
I'm sure think
it's a complete. I mean that's.
I'm no plumber.
Me neither, but I know it don't cost $21 billion.
But the thing is like this is going to be a recurring problem.
Right.
The infrastructure needs to be upgraded, not just in Flint, but in many areas. Mm-hmm. So it's something to keep in mind.
That area, not to tangent off too much, and you guys can add or we can stop after I say this, but that area of the country that Flint is in, you can kind of say it's part of what's called the Rust Belt. You guys familiar with the Rust Belt?
Mm-hmm. Heard that before.
Heard that term. It's just an area or part of the country, and Flint might be kind of outside of it, but it's very close. Where there was a lot of industry, like a ton of industry occurred in the United States, to where it was like a very thriving part of the country 50 years ago.
Motor City.
Mm-hmm. Detroit is right there. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of these many cities that are in this pocket of the country that are just like literally crumbling. Mm-hmm. It's wild, man.
It's almost like we used the city and state all that we could, because now the automotive industry isn't booming there like it used to.
That's one of the automotive industry, steel, rubber, especially in Ohio.
Akron.
Yeah, Akron and what's it, like Cleveland?
That whole that area.
Even up to Toledo maybe, but yeah.
I read an interesting thing. I didn't go into it. This could be completely biased, but I read something that we had the worst December in the stock market since 1933.
Wow.
I don't know if that's
was
true.
that the year of the crash?
I think it was around
or was
that
20
time.
Something?
Around that time.
Yeah.
But
wow, that's crazy. I didn't hear that one.
I don't know if there's any merit
29.
to it, but look that up.
Perhaps, yeah. I'll
look that up, peoples.
Yeah, we can look that one up, because that's tough if that's the case. That's a long time in between.
It's just
worse.
It's just wild. And you talk about but we were talking like the Rust Belt, like this area of production. Like that's when people think of like America.
Yeah,
it's that part. I think often that they will think about this ingenuity, like some of these values that maybe we think
ingenuity and the values of that time period.
Yeah, that we say our American values come from that, and it's just decaying. So
yeah, drive through Gary,
literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Drive through there.
That was what a big coal and steel town.
Yeah, you drive through there. It looks. You'll see some of the stuff Spoolz is talking about.
I mean, it's just our hometown. Anderson was like that. It was big industry, you know, and now it's not. The big industry is like fast food restaurants.
Yep, or maybe that casino.
Yeah.
Nestle, Nestle.
Nestle's big. Yeah, that big plant.
But it's not like it was.
Yeah, when we were kids, it was Ford, General Motors.
I mean, to the point to where like everybody has family membber that work there. Like
no question.
My grandfather worked at PQ, Philadelphia Quartz in Anderson, which was off of Columbus and I don't know, by Lee's Video.
Yeah, shout out to Lee's.
But my other grandfather worked at Guide. But everybody that we knew, like everybody's family member, we had family members that worked in Guide, Delco, Remy, like all around there.
And that's similar to here. Like you had everybody's family worked at either Navistar, Chrysler, Allison, Ford. Yep. All of those were booming companies, and everybody made a really good living.
Yeah, we were young. It was just different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. And there was a emphasis on just in the town, especially like a town from where we're from, that was it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like Indianapolis was bigger, so I'm sure there were other options. Not saying it wasn't as relevant, but I'm saying for us, from where we come from, that was it.
That was pretty much
that was it. So
unless you're a teacher or a firefighter or something like that.
So you take those.
We're talking professions.
Yeah, you take those.
What's
situations.
interesting too, just about that time period. Last thing I'll say is that it was a time when you could graduate high school
and get a job
get a job that was good enough to be able to buy a house and like get married and have kids.
Yep.
Go straight to the league.
Yep.
Straight to the league. Yeah.
That hasn't been the case for a long time.
Nah.
Nope.
That's pretty
And that's the reason why a lot of families start a lot later now too. You have people starting families in their early 20s. Some of them were even teenagers. And start having kids, got married, things of that nature. Now
hustle and
we're all
motivate.
getting later in years before we actually start raising up a family, because I think a lot of people don't feel comfortable as far as bringing kids and getting married and things into the equation based on just living.
Yeah, stability like that. Yeah. When you get out at 18 from high school and you've been working at the plant for X amount of years, there's stability there to the point about being able to get that good money up front. You know what I'm saying? So it's just different.
Now you're swimming in student loans.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
The jobs aren't available that you went to school for.
That our generation was told to go for.
Yeah.
Facts.
Right.
Let's not forget that.
That is a fact. That's a fact. So we'll see. But all I know is that's a lot of bread.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bread. The GoFundMe is hilarious. Shout out to Flint. Hopefully things are getting better there, but don't seem to hear anybody talk about that as much.
No, the world-class boxer, Charisse, what's her name? Charisse. I can't remember her name, but she's like undefeated. She went to the Olympics. She won the Olympics twice in a row.
Oh, word. Okay.
She's from Flint.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, though.
That's what's up.
Yeah. All right.
That's what's up. A couple artists went up there as well. I saw Boosie, Trey the Truth. You know what I'm saying? They went up there and did some things. Even Webbie.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of people did.
I think John Connor's from there.
Yeah, so.
Dayton family.
Shout out to Charissa Fields. That's
I
her
see
name.
you, Spoolz.
Charissa Fields, I believe.
Shout out to MC Breed, I believe is from Flint.
Yeah, DFC. Yup. Grew up on them. Breed has some heat. I got to get mine with Tupac. Was really good. All right, so let's jump into some music. Shout out to Memphis, North Memphis, South Memphis, East, West, County Seat, Beale Street. Barbecue's great.
Orange Mound.
And all that.
Yeah, shout out to Philly. All surrounding areas. Freeways Beard as well. We appreciate y'all.
Indeed.
Meek, we see y'all. So Bone versus Migos.
I don't think you qualified.
Shout out to Beans too. Beans, multiple classics. Bone and Migos have been having an interesting conversation about best rap group. Migos pretty much came out and said we're the best rap group ever. Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony was like, you need to calm down. Y'all haven't put in enough work yet. The OG status, the OG response. There have been multiple takes on this. People say, well, the Migos are pretty good, man. They got culture. They got this. They got that. A lot of string of number ones.
They also have culture, too.
I see what you did there. I see you. Yeah, they have culture, too, as well. Probably going to put out 3 here soon. String of number ones everywhere. But I'm like, Bone Thugs definitely wasn't just some average group that came out. They were extremely large at their peak, at their apex. Multiple classic albums. And in my we ain't gonna talk about what came after those. But in my opinion, man, this is just the old head guys versus the new heads, the new kids or whatever. I don't see the comparison from a talent standpoint. That's just my opinion. I don't see the comparison. Now, if you want to talk album sales, you want to talk
I do.
Popularity, streams,
that's
we can
pretty
do
much
that.
what the Migos were saying. Well, you ain't got as much money as us.
If you want to talk, but money to me, that's the easy way to go around. That's a cop out.
That goes back to like the whole Drake Pusha T thing.
There you go.
They're not touring. He's not touring like Drake, and he's not making. That doesn't matter.
Because if we want to do bread, Mr. Rappity Rap, rhyme words together, Eminem has a lot of money.
There's basketball players that are playing at a way higher level than the other ones who aren't making as much money as those.
Facts.
So when they win a championship, are we saying he has a ring? Oh, well, he doesn't. His contract isn't as big as mine, so
Right.
I'm better than him.
I I see your point. I hate that. Take that out the equation.
It's crazy.
I'm coming to you, Spoolz. So with this, in terms of this comparison, is there a comparison? Are the is there hate here? Or is this just good conversation and just competitive nature from the two groups? Because
hopefully it is just good competitive, stuff. That's fine. I mean, that's always kind of fun. But the Migos definitely aren't the best group of all time, and Bone definitely isn't the best group of all time either.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Let's clarify that.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's funny always to hear people kind of go back and forth. The Migos, man. I mean, kind of like what you guys were talking about before, and we've talked about before on the show a number of times. Like, it depends on what you're, you're measuring by, I guess.
Yep.
So, I mean, Bone sold a lot of albums too.
It did.
Even the shitty ones sold okay.
In a different era.
Yeah.
So.
In a different era.
Yeah.
But no, it's just kind of funny, man. I like Bone better than Migos, but then again, I'm 35 years old too.
Right.
So,
right.
And we've had our discussions about Migos. Like, I guess they've grown on me a bit, or they continue to just a little, but I'm just not into like super arrogance, and like I'm much more into the craft than I am like all the extra shit. And they're kings of the extra shit to me, you know what I mean? But
I can dig it.
the craft part, like, I still think they have a little ways to go, and actually a long ways to go. But all things said, man, they're the most popular group there is right now, and kudos to them for being either confident or cocky enough to just say it, I guess.
I think that, I mean, it's just something to do nowadays to say I'm the best and get a rise out of somebody. We just talked about the best R&B or the R&B king last episode.
Did I give you peas for that? I think I gave you peas for that privately, but the way that you got him up, 𝗀𝗲𝗄 up out of there on that foolishness, I appreciate that, sir.
Get the hell out.
Get his ass out of here.
He's crazy.
Yeah,
He's
I didn't mean to
delusional.
cut you off, but I wanted to give you peas for that.
It's cool.
I like how you took care of that, because that's foolish. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no, it's a matter of, especially in this generation where you have so many people on Twitter and have an opinion about something. So you're going to have more people on Twitter and things like that are going to vouch for Migos because that's the generation we're in.
Sure.
Migos, they have to credit Bone for their style even, because Bone was kind of the first group that came out that was kind of blending melodies and had
harmonizing.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Things like that. Mm-hmm. They started that.
Whether they know it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And mind you, I think Bone has 2 albums that I really, really G for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What are those 2?
Creeping on the Come Up and East 1999 Eternal.
Did you guys ever hear Faces of Death, the one before Creeping on the Come Up?
I heard it, but I don't generally count that one.
All right.
That kind of was like demo era type.
Spoolz with the history, though. That is a fact.
But all right, so that's 2 very good albums from Bone and their influence on the culture. And then they also had the kind of olive branch where they somebody had a compilation album that was decent at some point in time.
I gotta look
Was
the
it
name
Lazy?
up.
It was Lazy or Crazy, one of them.
Let me look it up on Spotify.
They also had solo projects, and I think I get the names mixed up.
It's all good.
I can't remember, but one of them was pretty good. But
that's why I can never put them in the class of one of my favorite or all-time greatest groups, because I'd forget them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they sound like individually.
Yeah. And then then you have Migos as well, who have, what are we on their 3rd or 4th album?
I think Culture 1, Culture 2, 3 is probably approaching.
But there was an album or 2 before this.
I'm sleep on those 2.
One of the 3 guys put out a solo not too long ago.
All 3 of them have solos.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, shows how much.
Takeoff and Quavo have put theirs out. I think Offset's is still.
He's
did
put
his come
one
out?
Yeah, he's put one out as well.
It's
they
already
all
out.
have solo projects out.
Okay.
But Culture is the only good album collectively, I think, as a whole, from Migos.
Culture had Stir Fry, right?
Yeah.
And that's the new
Bad
Culture,
Bougie.
though.
Yeah, that one, that's on Culture too.
Culture
Bad and
2's
Bougie.
Oh, I'm getting confused.
Bad and Bougie was on Culture.
All right.
And T-shirt. T-shirt was on Culture.
That was a big record.
Yeah. But, I mean, they're influential as well, because we talk about the Bone influence on their sound. You also have a lot of people doing the ad-libs the same way that Migos did here currently. So it's you just got to pay homage to who you gathered something from and move forward rather than saying you're the best. Because like Spoolz said, like we talked about earlier, we're talking about two groups who aren't the best rap group as a whole, period.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? So there's that. And Art of War was trash.
No, I done that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do that. But
How about that?
when it comes to the Migos, to your point, I would agree with that because that's the one thing I do bring up in their favor is that everyone is biting them. Like the Migos influences in Drake, it's in whoever you want to call, Travis Scott, whatever. Like they are very, very influential in today's era. You can't take that from them, right or wrong, or if you think it's good or not.
Absolutely.
But you can't knock those brothers for that. They doing something right. Lone, what you think?
I don't really have much more to add than what everybody else has said. I mean, to me, the main elements are to me, Migos is like, obviously catches their influence from Bone, whether they know it or not.
Right.
So you're saying, yeah, we do what Bone did, but better, but that's where y'all get your style from.
Right.
So, at least to an extent. I don't know. They're both, I mean, Migos has their place. Bone has their place. I don't really rock with either group like
That's
that.
fair.
I'm not a fan. You know, like, you know, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Not for me.
It's all good. I remember
Not to say they both don't have jams, because they do have cuts, but I'm not going out to look for a Migos record, and I never was going out to look for a Bone Thugs record.
I was until I got burnt on
What
that
happened?
damn
By Art of War.
Art of War came out. I paid extra money for Art of War at Barry's, actually. I went to Barry's Music and bought that.
What you pay?
I bought that, and I bought, I think, Chris John. It came out at the same time.
what was the ticket on that Art of War?
It was like damn near $30.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That sounds right for those them 90s prices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I'm saying?
It was a week. I think it was like that Friday before the Tuesday it was supposed to come out. I bought it from Barry's.
Oh, you got that early.
Yeah, because they would do that from time to time, different places.
Who
but
put out the Western joint? Which Bone member?
it was the same one that kind of spearheaded
Ghetto Cowboy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hated that song.
It was the same one that spearheaded that compilation, the Thugs, something. I can't remember the name.
Mo Thugs?
Mo Thugs, yeah.
I remember good call, Spoolz. I remember Mo Thugs.
Yeah.
I want to say it was crazy.
I remember that song.
Yeah.
I remember the video. But anyways.
No, Bone.
Whatever happened to Tasha that was on Thuggish Ruckish Mom?
Tasha is probably the equivalent to 𝗀𝐻𝐿 on the Wu-Tang joints. Yeah.
Maybe so. Like a family friend.
Yeah, C-, B+. I mean B-, C+ singing.
Yeah.
Friend like Method Man cousin or Lazy Bone cousin or something like
That's
that.
the girl next door singing.
Yeah.
And she just seen y'all practicing and she was
Yeah.
like, I can do something.
They grew up together, or,
Yeah.
something like that. I put her in that category with 𝗀𝐻𝐿.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if 𝗀𝐻𝐿 got anything out, if she put something out after that.
Is 𝗀𝐻𝐿 dating somebody in the Wu-Tang Clan?
What you call her?
I said, was she dating somebody
No.
in the Wu-Tang Clan?
I don't know. She has to be related to somebody
Don't know.
with them vocals. But
I don't know a lot of history on 𝗀𝐻𝐿.
I don't.
Unfortunately.
You know what's crazy?
She
I know we got
disappeared, too.
the albums to talk about, but there are mad Wu affiliate people that you find out later, that I found out later about. Like, I never knew, and I could be, completely have been totally oblivious to this, but I didn't know Papa Wu was ODB's cousin or uncle or something like that.
Yeah,
I didn't
relations.
realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So on one of the hip hop documentaries on Netflix, he was talking about how, dirty he was when he grew up and all that. I'm like, who is this dude? And it flashes across the screen. I hadn't seen him before. Like, they had a lot of random dudes that was just with him.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting on the interludes and singing on the beginning of Cream and all that type of stuff. So that was dope.
For sure.
Put everybody on.
Yeah. Shout out ODB. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
All right. So let's see.
Nepotism. In the hip-hop world.
This
How
dude,
about
man.
that?
So,
Right.
and shout out to Lone for lighting this candle that we have here. I've been waiting on this for him to light this because it's been the same level of wax for about 4 years. So maybe it's a special day today. He lit that thing.
He set the mood right for you when he lit the candle.
Well, I mean,
is that what it is?
I don't know if it's for me. If y'all want to put it on me, that's cool. It's just I've been monitoring it, so he's never lit it in like 4 years. So
it may or may not been a fart that prompted that candle to be lit.
How about that?
Y'all decide what the reasoning and logic behind it was, but it's good to see that. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while.
Just wanted to say that.
Appreciate it, Brad. So, I think we all have said lists of top records that we heard over this previous year. Now, is there anything I'm leaving out that anybody wants to talk about before we jump into these albums?
I just thought it was a really good year for music again.
I would agree.
2018.
I would agree.
Some good jams.
I would agree, Bradley. Speaking of that, since you just said that, I guess we can use that as a transition into records that you thought or that stood out to you or that were some of your favorites. Did you have your list up?
I do.
You ready to roll? All right,
I am.
So give us some of those names.
Maybe like if we're probably going to have some of the same ones.
Okay.
So if I say one and you guys have it on your list, say it as well, and we'll all talk about it. How does that sound?
I'm with that.
Or we can just like say them all and then kind of go back and like maybe pick one or a few to talk about or something like that. Because I think it'll probably go a little longer if we do it like that. So if everybody just goes down
so go through the list and then come back around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Top of my list is Book of Ryan from Royce. That was probably my favorite album of the year that came out.
Ting Ting.
Oxnard, Anderson .Paak. West Side Gun, Hitler Wears Hermes. And then he put another project out. I've got it at home, listened to it, can't remember off the top of my head, but he put out 2. Conway put out Everybody Is Food 1 and 2. Both were solid.
That's tough.
Benny,
Solid.
Tana Talk 3, and then he also put out an album or a project called A Friend of Ours as well. So he put out 2 this year, but Tana Talk 3 was extremely strong.
A young man can rap.
Rock Marcy put 3 projects out this year. Rosebud's Revenge 2, Behold a Dark Horse, and then Chaos with DJ Muggs.
Wasn't one of those like $100 to cop?
It was like $40 for a digital download or something.
Yeah.
30. Chaos is a big fan of that one. It's the one with Muggs. I'm a big fan of this project. It's from a dude named Crime Apple, who's from New Jersey.
Crime
The album is called Aguardiente.
Nice.
Perfect.
Say it again for the people.
Aguardiente.
There you go.
Next one I had was Big Crit put out 3 like very small EPs.
Yeah.
One was Double Down, the other one was Trifecta, and I think there was a third.
That's my
Ghostface, The Lost Tapes. Thought that was really dope. Pee Wee Longway, got to stay with Pee Wee Longway. State of the Art. That was a good project. Came out not too long ago. And then last ones I have on here are Black Thoughts, 2 EPs from this year. One with Ninth Wonder and then the one with that just came out. Yep. So that's my list. What are we doing, Terry? You're going to say yours?
All right, so then we're going to just keep going and then kind of talk about different releases, I guess.
Okay.
Cool. So my list goes a little something like this. All right, so I have Sir, November, Masego, Lady, Nipsey Hussle, Victory Lap, J-Rock, Redemption, Fonte, All News is Good News.
No News is Good News.
No News. There you go. Pusha T, Daytona, Black Milk, Favor, Royce 5'9", Book of Ryan, Mac Miller, Swimming, J. Cole, Kids on Drugs, Freddie Gibbs, Freddie. I also have a kind of like a Rookie of the Year or somebody that people may not have heard of until recently, which is Toby Nwigwe. He dropped like 2 projects this year as well that were pretty good, and I really rock with him. I just didn't put the albums on the list, but those are mine.
Cool.
Very good. All right. Well, I've broken mine down into lists. I know Brad likes lists. I have multiple lists here.
Huge fan.
So I have 5 that are like probably my 5 favorite projects that I listen to the most, and then I have a whole bunch of like runner-ups type thing that were good. and I have a couple local releases as well that I really liked. So I'm gonna start off. My favorite 2 projects of the year was 𝗏's November, like Terry said, and the other one was 𝗏𝗲𝗄 Care for Me. Those are probably my 2 favorite projects this year. And then after that, Nipsey Victory Lap was really good. Fonte, No News is Good News, and then the first Black Thought album with Ninth Wonder, Streams of Thought 1. 2 was good as well, but Ninth and Thought together, I think they just had a really good, I don't know, I just liked it. The rest of the best, Royce's Book of Ryan. Royce is, to me, probably, I don't know. I don't know why anybody would try to challenge Royce in a rap battle.
Good luck.
Maybe like someone like Tory Lanez.
Maybe like Tory Lanez.
I really hope he does that.
Or potentially to a fight.
He could do that also.
I don't think Tory Lanez actually challenged it, but we more or less did with some words that he said.
I heard they made up. But
I mean, I'll push play on the YouTube video on both of those. So, or World Star. Another few, let's see, some that are maybe a little bit different. Well, actually, the ones that are the same. Mac Miller's Swimming. I thought it was a solid project. Not necessarily my favorite from Mac, but it was almost, Terry and I talked about this right after he passed. Like, it was almost kind of eerie listening to it.
Very.
But it's a very good project. Benny's Tana Talk 3. I was a fan of that. J Rock's Redemption. Was a fan of that. Black Milk's Fever. Then some different ones that I don't know if I've heard mentioned yet. Evidence is Whether or Not. Got a lot of play for me earlier this year. Mick Jenkins released Pieces of Man. That's a really good project. Shouts to Chicago. Roy Kinsey put out a project called Blackie. That's a really good project. And locally, Sirius Black's Major Threat, which is really good. So those are the ones that kind of got the most play. Also, special shouts to Diop for his Still Shining project and Double A's Peaked. Those are 2 local records that I also liked a lot. All right.
Well, going last, you guys are pretty much named. I see a lot of doubles on mine, so I'm not going.
What's first, Culture 2?
Yeah, Culture 2. I don't think you guys missed anything. I had Skyzoo as well. Celebration of Us.
I can dig it.
I actually went back and continued to listen to Astroworld by Travis Scott.
That is a really good album.
And I liked it more than I initially thought I would. That album is pretty good.
I think it starts out very, very dope. Like from one, I think I brought this up at one point in time. It kind of nails that 7-song thing that Kanye and we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. From song 1 to 7 is all bangers. Like you have to skip shit, but yeah, I'm with you on that.
Dies off a little bit, but I'll be honest, I had to give him P's. Like that project was a lot better than I thought. Like he had some heat on there. Locally, I had Diop as well. I took Terry's, formula for his list. There's a kid from Louisville named Jack Harlow that I really, really like. He's dope.
That's what our guy TR was saying in North Carolina when we went, I believe.
Yeah, he's somebody's gonna scoop him up, and I think he's gonna be really, really good when he gets the right situation around him. Very talented. A friend of mine, a guy I know, put me on to him, and I went back and did some research. Listen, he's got a couple projects. He's dope. Mm-hmm. He's definitely the real deal. Very versatile.
I can dig it.
Roy Kinsey's project is mine for that category.
Yeah, shout out to Roy. Yeah, Roy definitely did a good job. Shout out to Mike Spitz as well. Yeah. I think Il Brown mixed that one. So
he did.
That's all fam there. So yeah, shout out to Roy. Fillmore Green just came out. So, and that's the tough part because we have some records that just came out recently. I figure they should just get some love. Like I loved his album, as well as the joint with Freddie Gibbs and Currency. I thought that one was the Alchemist.
Fetty.
Yeah, Fetty.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I think I like Freddie a little bit more personally.
Freddie was dope.
But
but that grimy sound for what the Alchemist had with them, I think it just fit. Like I'm for Gibbs over the Alchemist anytime I can get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then Currency did it. He shined on there as well. So other than that, you guys had, Book of Ryan, KOD, Pusha. So we had the majority of the same thing. For
nobody
those.
had Kids See Ghosts, huh?
No.
Okay, so let's go back around.
But only reason I say that is because that's high on a lot of lists that I see pop up around. Yeah,
it is. He's actually right. Like I've heard multiple people talk about that one. It ain't doing anything for me. We talked about the 7-track series or whatever.
I think it was mixed well. Was mixed a lot better than Kanye's project, so it sounded better as far as that's concerned. But yeah, Pusha T is the only one out of that rollout that made my top of the year.
I'll borrow a line from.
Do you guys have any? Do you guys have like a favorite, like one personally
Out
that
of
you
the
listen
rollout?
to the most? Yeah, from
Tiana
last
Taylor.
year.
Tiana Taylor for me.
No, not the rollout. I mean, a favorite project that's from
Overall.
the last year.
Oh, overall.
Yeah, a personal favorite.
Book of Ryan is my personal favorite.
Is it?
Victory Lap
It's,
for me.
But
I
why?
like, so it's
why?
on everybody's list, but I'll talk about why I liked
Yeah,
it
that's
so
that's
much.
why I'm curious.
It
Yes,
was
sir.
so personal, man.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was so genuine. Not to say, I mean, I like Royce a lot. He's extremely talented. I think him, Black Thought, and a couple others are still way better than everybody out here today, man. And I thought he put out potentially the best project he's ever put out, man. And I don't know his catalog like as in depth probably as you do or some of you guys do, but from what I have heard, I liked it better than the one that came out before, and I really liked the one that came out before.
Was it Layers, maybe?
Something like that.
That's saying a lot. Yeah, because that last one was dope.
Dude, I just really appreciated and liked Book of Ryan. I think it was a really good adult hip hop album.
Yeah.
So
Kinda
that's how I
along
feel about it.
Kind of on the same wavelengths as Fonte's. It was real personal and
Yeah,
grown manish. You know
very
what I'm
grown.
saying? As far as my favorite's not a hip hop album. Sir's November kind of did it for me.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, just the way it blended together and the subject matter and like the state of mind it kind of put me in. It felt good, so I kind of rolled with that a lot this year. Later in the year, Masego's Lady kind of did it for me.
I'm happy you split it into two because I'm gonna have to as well.
Yeah, but yeah, I really like that. Neither one of those are really hip hop albums. And mind you, I was listening to a lot of hip hop, and those are high on my list as well. But those are the ones that kind of put me in a zone, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? When I listen to them, so that's where I'm at.
How about you, Mike?
For me, it was Victory Lap. In terms of an album I listen to the most, and I think it's just because, and it's not because I see the phrase on social media go around a lot where people say lyrical miracle. Like that's the new thing now, to just, cast aspersions on anybody that raps, right? It's you're a lyrical miracle. Nobody wants to hear lyrical.
Yeah.
It's not about that. Like Nipsey's not the coldest rapper to me. Like he's not the most metaphorical rapper or anything, but he knows how to make a good project. From production standpoint, sequencing standpoint, how he laid it out, meat and potatoes. Like he checked off so many boxes on there.
did.
There were records on there that were, I guess joints that he would say were his singles, but they weren't like a push. It wasn't like, oh, I have to do this as a single. Then on top of that, I give him P's for reflecting where he comes from. Like there's joints, the record sounds like a West Coast album.
Definitely.
It doesn't sound like a dude making Atlanta music or down south music. So I give him high marks for making regional music.
I give them props, period, the West Coast, period, as
Yeah.
a whole,
Yeah.
because they stay true to their sound.
I love
like
that.
you can say that for Nipsey Hussle's project,
Yeah.
J-Rock's project,
Yep.
the exact same way, and it's that sound that we all grew to
Kendrick
love,
does that.
and they
Yeah.
stay true to that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Anderson .Paak did that, I thought.
He
man.
did.
He has like this like groovy California.
I think
don't know
his
sound that I've
latest
always
one. His latest one is groovy, is dope,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason it didn't give me that same energy that I was looking for.
We've had this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I think it's because it lacks some of the grit that he's always had, and it's just almost overly polished, which you wouldn't think necessarily is a bad thing, but it kind of took some of the griminess out of it. I don't know, but
Yeah, but with
still a
Nip,
good album. But
Yeah, very good, very good. I like Doc Star.
I'm a fan of it. Yeah.
But with Nip though, he just checked off all the boxes. From an album, and I can tell he let that thing simmer. This wasn't rushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
His videos too. Have you seen his videos? His videos are good too.
Yeah. So when I see that much effort and that much time that's been taken on a project all the way across the board, and it actually turns out to be good, stands the test of time as well. The album came out in what?
January,
the first quarter
February,
of this year. And it still sounds the same.
Yeah.
It's a wrap for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lone. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to split mine into two, but I could almost like this entire year I had like months where I would listen to like one project.
Yep.
Like Nipsey was literally like a straight month for me. That's all I listened to. But it was later because I didn't get into him until probably August. But I'd have to start with two. The first part of the year, it's really hard for me to go against No News is Good News because Fonte's like my favorite artist ever. And that was a spectacular project, but Sir's November dominated my first half of the year.
I almost said Fonte too.
But Sir's
It's a really
November.
good album.
Sir's November. I mean, it's only like 10, 11 tracks too, right? I mean, yeah, it's just that got a ton of play for me.
I mean, I was in my pocket a lot with that Fonte too, though.
I was as well. I
almost said it. Like
Yeah.
I almost said that one, but Nip just did it for me.
And the second half, I'd have to actually say the last probably few months, and it might just be because I've just now started getting into it, but Saba's Care for me.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say that it's not as good as this last one, but I don't know. Like this project speaks to me in a very specific place in a very specific time where I'm at, and it's just brilliantly written.
Yeah.
And the production is amazing on it. And the way it's written, the sequence is kind of themed a little bit. He's talking a lot about his cousin that died, and he's talking about his own relationship issues and stuff like that. Like Broken Girls is my favorite song of the year.
Man, that's tough. That's a tough record
That's
right there.
my favorite song of the year.
Yeah.
And so it's just that those two projects probably, and it's tough because there is a lot of really good music that's come out this year.
And there was actually some projects that we left off that are very fucking dope.
I was just about to say one of the ones I listened to the most that I would put in that area around the Fonte and the Nip actually was the Black Panther soundtrack.
That was a very dope. That's hands down, in my opinion, the best soundtrack that has came out, like hip hop influential soundtrack since probably the 90s.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I was a big fan of the 𝗀𝗡 and 𝐵_LEGIT album, Connected and Respected.
Oh, with the band picture on the front.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that was. I'm gonna go back and like look at my music and be like, damn, I forgot that came out in February or March or April or whatever. But if I had a second one though, it would have been probably Tana Talk.
Yeah.
That's a good album.
Tana Talk is
that
dope.
album is
really good.
extremely solid.
Yeah, it's good.
And then like a runner up to that would have been Chaos with DJ Muggs.
Gotcha.
And Rock Marciano.
I feel bad I didn't listen. I gotta go.
Really good album.
I like the sound of that. I need to go listen to that one.
DJ Muggs, I think, had a great 2018, or he's had a great last couple years. I mean, he's done projects with a lot of, Mayhem Loren, I believe.
He was instrumental in Bone.
I think Mayhem Loren did his album. He put out an album with Harry Fraud.
Yeah.
This year, and it was really strong. It was really, really good.
There's an album nobody really said anything about, but not Phony People. They actually had a good album, came out this year as well. But Hive Mind by The Internet.
Yes.
I didn't listen to that.
Yeah.
I did not either.
Musically, it's I didn't realize they were that dope. Peace Sake, shout out to Peace Sake. He was the one that told me, go listen to the Internet album right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about, man? He's like, yo, you gonna love this.
Was it the Hive Mind or was it the one prior?
The one they dropped the most recent one.
Okay, Hive Mind is very good, and it kind of falls in that same pocket of the Anderson .Paak, because Anderson .Paak dropped two very dope albums back to back, and then he went into Oxnard, which is still a good album.
What do you think of the one in
different
between
feeling.
there? The No Worries one, or the one with the Knowledge?
I thought that was dope.
The what now?
The one with
The one with
Knowledge.
Knowledge,
And
That's
By
what he's.
No Worries.
Is that what you're talking about though? You talking about Malibu and No Worries?
Well, the
Or you
No
talking
Worries,
about
that was him in Knowledge, like you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Talking about
That was dope
Venice and
too.
Malibu,
I was
right?
like,
was
what
just
do you
talking
think of
about
that one?
That's
Okay.
very dope. But I'm like, as far as his solo joints, he dropped two very good albums. And now that you say that, the No Worries one was very good as well. With the Internet,
Yeah.
their previous album is So Cold.
Mm-hmm.
and then they dropped the Hive Mind, which is good too. But unfortunately, as consumers and people that listen to music, we're always trying to get that same feeling back.
Right.
And it's almost not fair to do that, but
It's
that's
just
how
the way
you
the
kind of
world-
go into it, listening to it.
You're right, man. I was going to say real quick, you guys kind of got me into Anderson .Paak. I would say you specifically got me into Anderson .Paak.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone back and listened thoroughly to Malibu and to Venice,
Mm-hmm.
and I've not as thoroughly into the Knowledge No Worries one.
Mm-hmm.
But those first two I like a lot, and I love Malibu.
Yeah.
Love Malibu. It's an incredible
Yeah,
album.
Malibu is crazy.
I don't have that kind of, maybe because I still need to listen. You know, I don't know. I think I've listened to him a lot at this point, but I just see him growing as an artist, and maybe we don't like. I don't think he's going to make another Malibu.
I think he can though.
I think he could. I think for him, maybe he'll get back to that one day. But I think he literally is such an artistic person. I think he's just kind of exploring, and he's one of those kind of gifted people to me who can do that and sell a ton of albums, because it might not be what this was before, but it's still
Right.
really good.
I
That's
can,
fair.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
And that, in the
I
same
dig, man. His
token,
music gets played in my house a
It's
lot.
very, very good.
Oh, it
but
is,
in the
yeah.
same token, you have other artists that still grow and mature, but their albums are still equally as good as the latter. You know what I'm saying? So even though
but
it's
that's a
different,
small, that's not the norm though.
It's
to be,
I'll say this: it's very difficult to do.
yeah, that's hard. Like,
but to me,
maintain.
he's that type of artist.
Okay, I follow.
You know
I
what I'm
follow.
saying?
Yeah.
He's that type of artist that you can see him giving you different sounds, but it's still sounding amazing. Like Kendrick.
Yeah,
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? His albums don't sound the same, but they're
Right.
all amazing.
Outkast to me started that.
Definitely.
You know what I'm
Outkast,
saying?
hands down.
Shout out to
Every
Organized
single one of
Noise.
their albums is different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And they're all amazing in their own right. So
I'd say one album that I've only recently gotten into that I probably one of the main reasons it's not higher on my list is Masego's Lady Lady, because I've listened to it a few times in the last few days and it's really good.
yeah.
Like really good.
I feel bad because I haven't given that project enough time, and I know Terry he speaks highly of it. You actually said you listened to it and thought it was dope as
I mean,
well.
he's just
so
a talented dude though.
Man.
I gotta get on my job because I feel like I'm missing out on the gym.
Yeah.
The way y'all
White
talk
Bronco
about it.
was good.
It's
Extra
pretty good.
Hudson. It was
Yeah.
a good
Pretty good.
album.
Yeah.
That Love Redefined by Longevity is pretty decent.
Oh my
That is.
god.
Solid project.
Yeah.
It really is.
We low
Lonely
key.
Me deserves a video.
Yeah, that's
low-key-
what they say.
We low key kind of we had a little executive
And
producer
we was
in that
a
joint.
little
deal.
instrumental in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in the boardroom.
Yeah.
for-
Shout out to Ghostface too, man. He put out, I thought, Lost Tapes it was solid.
Ghostface, as we alluded to on the last episode, is one of those guys that is aging. I think he's aging well.
I think Jay Moore made a good point when he said he wished that Ghostface would curate an A&R
No
all of the
question.
Wu-Tang.
100%.
I was like, yeah, that'd be spectacular.
100%. Yeah, Ghost. I think Ghost still gets it.
Stick Method Man with like Adrian Young or something.
Yeah.
And let's hear that.
Let's
You
hear
know,
that
like-
one. Yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
know, another album I heard was really good and I failed to check out, and I'm mad at myself for it, is Joel Ortiz.
his-
I need to.
Apollo Brown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
haven't
listened
heard
to
it
that
yet.
one.
I
Yeah,
listened
Tony
to a
Sticks
little
told
bit.
me that it was really dope. And I did hear a track with him, Royce, with Apollo Brown on the beat, and that song was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's low key like Royce is my favorite from Slaughterhouse, but Joel Ortiz is a very close second.
He's a very good rapper,
And
man.
he rates the reason why is because he writes really great songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he can rap his ass off, but he's just such a great MC. So yeah, that's one that I absolutely slept on as
Me
well.
too, man. I slept on a lot, admittedly. I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and say that now. This isn't like a best. This is just the stuff that we could
Yeah.
think of that
Yeah.
really stood out to us. Not saying it's the best.
And that's why the argument can exist that there's no good music out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Because
completely
like
agree.
as many albums that we named, we left out some really dope albums. You know what I'm saying? We're not perfect. We have good ears, I think.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's hard to listen to everything.
Yeah. I agree.
And I mean, there's a lot of good shit out there.
A lot of good stuff locally in Indianapolis as well. So if
Definitely.
you're around here,
Come
make
check
sure.
us out. We got a lot of
Fox Legend dropped a really dope album too.
Yep.
Called Don't Get It Twisted. I really rock with that.
I'd be curious for 2019. I know that's where we're going into that. To see what, since we're speaking locally, to see how tragic what he does with his momentum going into that next year. I think he's setting up to have a really, really good year in terms of our local artists as well. You know, the Empire, he's doing his acting thing. So
Man, he's been around for a minute.
Yeah,
Tragic's been grinding for a minute.
He's been rapping for a while. So it's good to see somebody get that, you know what I'm saying, get that look. So hopefully in 2019, he can capitalize on
him.
that.
Him also, Baby Ebony.
Okay.
I'm
Definitely.
curious what Baby Ebony's going to do as well.
Poindexter.
Poindexter, Double A.
Yeah, I like Double A. I'm a fan of
Willis,
Double A.
Diop, Man Dog. You know.
Yep.
My man Fax, shout to him. 2018, he put out a project with Joe Harvey. I did the cuts for that.
He's
Word.
actually
Fax,
on the next
Harvey Fax.
next
I got a
hip hop
remix.
night.
Yep. Word.
Yeah.
I got a
Cool.
remix.
Shout to my
on
man
it.
Fax.
That's what's up.
Yeah, Lone did a remix on it.
Well, there it is. So I know this is the last episode for 2018. I've had a blast
Definitely.
with you gentlemen as always. I cannot wait until 2019. We got so many great things planned. Shout out to the sponsors, always Coleman Dental, 317-255-8546, printfinity.com. Support your local businesses. Bringing down the band is the hub as always, and Indie CD and Vinyl. No Bad Ideas as well. Thank you all for a great 2018.
Thank you.
Shout out
Thank
to
you.
our
Thank
patrons
you.
as well. They rocking with us.
Already.
All the people
Thank
in
you
the
so
New
much.
Old Heads community, we appreciate you guys as well. All of our guests, all the people that came out in orange.
Man, it's a great year.
Great year, and we look forward to seeing you guys for 2019. Red August has done a great job with us as
Yes,
well.
thank you, sir.
Be sure to check out Hip Hop Night. The last one of the year is Friday, so tomorrow. It's featuring, like you said, Fax. There's an
sir.
artist named American on the list as well. And we got 3 others.
Shout out to Jay Moore as well, our 5th New Old Head. He has done
Yes,
a great
sir.
job
Yep.
filling in when we
Indeed.
have any absence or we just want to rock with 5 people. And
Every Saturday at Patron Saint.
yes,
Lo-fi
Lo-Fi.
hip hop night, 7 to 10.
David Peck, we see you.
Vibes.
Side
on
note,
Vibes on Vibes.
the beginning of Echo when Swiss Beats talks doesn't make any fucking sense. That's the last thing I'll say for 2018.
Well, all right.
We'll see y'all next year. Peace.